What if the very first thing you do every morning, the habit you trust the most, is quietly pushing your blood sugar in the wrong direction? Before you take your next sip of coffee, I want you to pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear may completely change the way you look at something you have been doing for years, maybe even decades. And the surprising part is this: it is not about quitting coffee. It is not about giving up something you enjoy. It is about one small adjustment, a detail so simple that most people ignore it, but powerful enough to influence your energy, your metabolism, and your long-term health. Hello, I am Dr. Richard Ben. Over the past several years, I have dedicated a large part of my work to helping people manage blood sugar levels, especially individuals over the age of 60 who are either living with type 2 diabetes or are very close to developing it. And during this time, I started noticing a pattern that kept repeating itself. People who believed they were doing everything right. People who followed basic advice. People who took their medications, and yet their glucose levels remained unstable. That made me ask a simple question: what are we missing? Because when something does not improve despite effort, there is always something hidden behind it. And one of the answers was sitting right there in their daily routine: coffee. Now let me be very clear. Coffee is not the enemy. In fact, when used correctly, coffee can become an ally for your metabolism. But when used incorrectly, it can quietly sabotage everything you are trying to achieve. And the most dangerous part is this: most people have no idea it is happening. Now let me give you a broader picture so you can understand why this matters so much. We are living in a time where blood sugar problems are becoming increasingly common. Not only diagnosed diabetes, but also pre-diabetes. Millions of people are walking around with elevated glucose levels without knowing it. They feel the symptoms, but they do not connect them. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt tired shortly after eating? Have you ever experienced that heavy feeling in your body in the afternoon, like your energy suddenly drops? Do you sometimes feel thirsty for no clear reason? Or maybe you wake up in the morning already feeling fatigued. These are not random signals. These are messages. Your body is trying to communicate with you. But here is what happens most of the time. People ignore these signs, or they normalize them, or they blame age, and by the time they take it seriously, the condition has already progressed. That is why this conversation is so important, because small changes made early can prevent much bigger problems later. Now, to understand how coffee fits into all of this, we need to look at how your body handles sugar. And I want to explain this in a very simple way. Imagine your pancreas as a small factory inside your body. This factory has one main job: to produce insulin. Insulin is the key that allows sugar in your bloodstream to enter your cells. And once inside the cells, that sugar becomes energy. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas detects this increase and releases insulin. And under normal conditions, everything works smoothly. But here is where the problem begins. When your body is constantly exposed to foods that raise blood sugar quickly, this factory is forced to work harder and harder. At first, it keeps up. Then it starts to struggle. And over time, your cells begin to respond less effectively to insulin. This is what we call insulin resistance. And once that process starts, your pancreas needs to produce even more insulin to achieve the same effect. It becomes a cycle. More sugar in the blood, more insulin being produced, less response from the cells, and gradually the system loses balance. Now here is where coffee becomes very interesting. Because coffee is not just a simple drink, it contains hundreds of natural compounds. Some of these compounds interact directly with how your body processes glucose. And when coffee is consumed at the right time and in the right way, it can actually help slow down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. This means fewer spikes, less stress on your pancreas, and more stability in your energy levels. Sounds like a good thing, right? But here is the part most people never hear. These benefits depend entirely on how you drink your coffee, because the same coffee that can help you can also work against you. And this is exactly what I see happening again and again. Let me tell you a story. There was a patient I worked with not long ago. He was 72 years old, a man with strong habits, disciplined in many aspects of his life, and very proud of one thing. He had been drinking coffee every single day since he was a teenager. To him, coffee was not just a beverage. It was part of his identity, part of his routine, part of his comfort. But when he came to see me, his blood sugar levels were consistently above the recommended range, and he could not understand why. He said something that I hear very often: "Doctor, I am doing everything right. I walk regularly. I do not eat excessively. And I drink coffee every day. So why are my results not improving?" That is when I asked him a very simple question. "Walk me through your day. Tell me exactly how and when you drink your coffee." And what he told me revealed everything. He was making 3 critical mistakes. Mistakes that seem harmless. Mistakes that millions of people make every day. But mistakes that can have a significant impact on blood sugar. And before I explain those mistakes, I want you to think about your own routine. Because there is a very high chance that at least one of these habits is part of your day. Maybe even all of them. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So here is the first one: drinking coffee immediately after waking up on an empty stomach. This is one of the most common habits I see. People wake up. They go straight to the kitchen, and the first thing they consume is coffee. It feels natural. It feels comforting. It feels like it helps you wake up. But inside your body, something very different is happening. When you wake up in the morning, your body is already in a state of alert. There is a natural increase in a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol helps your body prepare for the day. It increases alertness, it mobilizes energy, and it signals your liver to release glucose into your bloodstream. This is normal. This is part of your biology. But when you add caffeine to this moment, something changes. Caffeine amplifies the effect of cortisol. It stimulates your system even more, and as a result, your body releases even more glucose into your blood. And here is the key point. You have not even eaten anything yet. So your blood sugar rises without any food involved. In many cases, this increase can be significant. And when this happens day after day, it creates a pattern that slowly pushes your metabolism out of balance. Now, let me ask you something. If your day starts with a spike, what do you think happens next? Your body spends the rest of the day trying to correct that imbalance. And that affects your energy, your hunger, and your overall glucose control. This is why timing matters. Not just what you consume, but when you consume it. And this brings us to something very important that most people never consider. Your morning routine is not just a habit. It is a signal that sets the tone for your entire metabolic day. And if that signal is sending the wrong message, everything that follows becomes harder to control. Now, before I continue to the next mistake, I want you to reflect on something. How long have you been drinking coffee first thing in the morning? 5 years? 10 years, maybe 30 years, and no one has ever told you that this simple habit could be influencing your blood sugar. That is exactly why I am sharing this with you, because awareness is the first step toward change. And sometimes, the most powerful changes are the simplest ones. In the next part of this conversation, I am going to show you the second mistake. And this one is even more common and even more misleading. Because many people believe they are making a healthier choice, when in reality, they are making things worse. Now, let us continue, because the second mistake is something I see almost every single day. And what makes it dangerous is that people truly believe they are making a better choice. The second mistake is this: adding sugar, artificial sweeteners, or cream to your coffee. At first glance, it seems harmless. Just a small spoon of sugar, just a little sweetness to improve the taste. But inside your body, the effect is immediate. The moment sugar enters your system, your blood glucose rises rapidly. And here is the contradiction. You are drinking coffee for its potential benefits, but at the same time, you are canceling those benefits completely. It is like trying to calm a fire while pouring fuel on it at the same time. Now let me explain this in a way that is easy to visualize. Earlier, I told you that certain compounds in coffee can help slow down how sugar is absorbed. That is one of the reasons coffee can be helpful when used correctly. But when you add sugar, you override that effect. Instead of slowing down absorption, you accelerate it. Instead of stabilizing glucose, you create a spike, and your body has no choice but to react quickly. Your pancreas releases insulin. Your blood sugar rises, then falls, and often that drop leads to something very familiar: fatigue, cravings, and the desire for more sugar later in the day. Now here is something even more surprising. Many people try to avoid this by switching to artificial sweeteners. They think they are making a safer choice. No sugar, no calories, no problem. But recent research suggests something important. Artificial sweeteners may interfere with your gut microbiota. These are the bacteria living in your digestive system that play a key role in how your body processes glucose. When this balance is disrupted, your ability to regulate blood sugar can become less efficient, and over time, this may contribute to the very problem you are trying to avoid. So, even though there is no sugar, the metabolic effect is not neutral. And this is where many people get misled. They focus only on calories. But your body responds to more than just calories. It responds to signals, chemical signals, hormonal signals, microbial signals. And when those signals are disrupted, your metabolism feels it. Now, let me ask you something. How many times a day do you add something to your coffee? Once, twice, 3 times? Each time may seem small, but over weeks, months, years, it adds up. Now let us move to the third mistake. And this one is often completely overlooked: drinking coffee late in the afternoon or at night. This is extremely common. Many people drink coffee at 3 in the afternoon to fight fatigue. Some even drink it in the evening because they believe it helps them relax. But what they do not realize is this: caffeine does not leave your body quickly. It stays in your system for hours. In fact, several hours after drinking coffee, a significant amount of caffeine is still active in your body. And this has a direct impact on something that is absolutely critical for blood sugar control: your sleep. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is when your body resets. It is when hormones are regulated. It is when your metabolism recalibrates. It is when your body restores balance. But when caffeine interferes with your sleep, even if you fall asleep, the quality of that sleep is reduced, and poor quality sleep has a direct relationship with blood sugar levels. When you do not sleep well, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, your cortisol levels remain elevated, and your glucose regulation becomes less efficient. So now you have a cycle. You feel tired, you drink coffee late, your sleep is affected, your blood sugar becomes harder to control. You feel even more tired the next day, and the cycle continues. This is what I call a hidden loop, a loop that many people are trapped in without realizing it. Now let me bring all 3 mistakes together so you can see the full picture. The first mistake: drinking coffee on an empty stomach immediately after waking up. The second mistake: adding sugar or artificial sweeteners. The third mistake: drinking coffee too late in the day. Each of these habits alone can affect your blood sugar. But when combined, they create a pattern that pushes your metabolism in the wrong direction. And the most important thing to understand is this: none of these habits feel harmful in the moment. They feel normal. They feel comfortable. They feel familiar. And that is exactly why they are so powerful. Because the most impactful habits are often the ones we never question. Now let me take you back to the patient I mentioned earlier. Once we identified these 3 mistakes, we did not change everything in his life. We did not introduce extreme diets. We did not add complicated routines. We simply adjusted his coffee habits. That was it. And within a few weeks, his blood sugar levels began to improve. Not dramatically overnight, but consistently. And consistency is what matters. Because your body does not respond to one single action. It responds to patterns, daily patterns, repeated behaviors, small decisions made again and again. Now here is where things become very interesting. Because once you remove the mistakes, you can start using coffee in a way that actually supports your metabolism. And that is exactly what I am going to show you next. But before we move forward, I want you to pause again. Think about your own routine. Which of these 3 mistakes applies to you? Be honest with yourself, because awareness creates opportunity. And in the next part, I'm going to give you something practical. Something you can apply starting tomorrow. A simple structure. A way to drink coffee that works with your body, not against it. Now let us move to the most important part, because knowing what is wrong is only the first step. What truly changes your health is knowing what to do instead. So now I am going to show you how to use coffee in a way that actually supports your blood sugar, your energy, and your long-term health. Simple adjustments. No cost, no complicated steps. Just awareness and consistency. Let us begin. The first moment, the right way to drink coffee in the morning. When you wake up, do not rush straight to coffee. Your body has just completed several hours of fasting. Your system is sensitive, and what you do in this moment sets the tone for your entire day. So here's what I recommend. When you wake up, drink a glass of water first. Give your body time to rehydrate. Then wait. Give yourself about 30 to 60 minutes. During this time, allow your natural hormone levels to stabilize. Then eat something simple that contains protein. For example, eggs, cheese, plain yogurt without sugar. It does not have to be complicated. What matters is that you give your body a stable source of nutrients first. Only after that, drink your coffee. And drink it plain. No sugar, no artificial sweeteners. Because now your body is prepared. Now coffee works with your metabolism, not against it. And here is something else you can do if you want to enhance this effect. Add a small amount of cinnamon to your coffee. Just a small amount. Cinnamon contains natural compounds that can help improve how your body handles glucose. It is not a miracle, but it is a supportive element. And when combined with the right routine, it becomes part of a powerful system. Now let us move to the second moment. And this is something very few people know. Drinking coffee before your main meal. About 20 to 30 minutes before lunch. Have a small cup of plain coffee. This is where those natural compounds in coffee become especially useful. They help slow down how quickly sugar from your meal enters your bloodstream, which means a smoother rise in blood sugar, less stress on your pancreas, more stable energy after eating. Instead of feeling heavy and tired after lunch, you may begin to feel more balanced, more alert, more in control. Now let us talk about the third moment. After physical activity, if you walk, if you exercise even lightly, this is a powerful opportunity because after movement, your muscles become more receptive to glucose. They are ready to absorb sugar from your blood and use it as energy. Now imagine combining that with coffee. When consumed after activity, coffee can enhance this process, helping your muscles pull more glucose out of your bloodstream. This is what I call a window of opportunity, and most people miss it completely. Now let us talk about quantity. How much coffee is appropriate? In general, moderate consumption is considered safe for most adults, around 3 to 4 small cups per day. But here is something very important. Your body is unique. Some people process caffeine quickly, others process it slowly. So you need to pay attention to your own signals. If you feel anxious, if your heart races, if your sleep is affected, then reduce the amount or choose a decaffeinated option. Because even without caffeine, coffee still contains beneficial compounds. Now I want to share another story with you. A woman in her late 60s, a retired teacher. She had been managing type 2 diabetes for several years. She followed her treatment. She tried to eat better, but her results were not improving. Her blood sugar remained unstable, and she was starting to feel discouraged. When we reviewed her routine, we found something familiar: sweetened coffee in the morning, coffee with snacks in the afternoon, very little movement during the day. So we made simple adjustments. Nothing extreme. She changed the timing of her coffee. She removed sugar. She added a short walk to her routine. And something remarkable happened. Within weeks, her energy improved. Her glucose levels began to stabilize. And most importantly, she felt in control again. And that feeling matters, because health is not just about numbers. It is about how you experience your daily life. Now, before we finish, I need to warn you about something. There are hidden factors that can destroy all the benefits we have discussed. Let me make this very clear. If you continue to combine coffee with certain habits, you will not see the results you expect. Here are the main ones. Number 1, any type of sugar. Refined sugar, brown sugar, honey, they all raise blood glucose, and they all reduce the benefits of coffee. Number 2, artificial sweeteners. They may seem like a solution, but they can interfere with your metabolism in ways we are still understanding. Number 3, highly processed coffee products, instant mixes, flavored sachets. Many of these contain hidden ingredients that work against your health. Whenever possible, choose natural ground coffee. Simple, pure, uncomplicated. Number 4, combining coffee with processed foods, white bread, sweet biscuits, industrial cakes. These foods create strong spikes in blood sugar, and coffee cannot compensate for that. Now let me give you something powerful to remember. I call it the 3-element foundation. Element 1, smart coffee, the right timing, the right way. No unnecessary additions. Element 2, movement. You do not need intense exercise. A simple walk, done consistently, can transform how your body handles glucose. Element 3, protein. Including protein in your meals helps stabilize blood sugar and supports your metabolism. When these 3 elements work together, the effect is not small. It is cumulative. It builds over time. And this is how real change happens, not through extremes, but through consistency. Now, I want to be honest with you. Everything I have shared here is based on science and clinical observation, but it does not replace medical care. If you have a diagnosis, if you take medication, always work with your doctor, because your health deserves proper guidance. Now let me ask you something. Is there someone in your life who struggles with blood sugar? A friend, a parent, a partner? Share this information with them, because sometimes one small insight can lead to a meaningful change. And before I go, I want to leave you with this thought. Your body is not working against you. It is constantly trying to restore balance. Every signal you feel, fatigue, thirst, low energy, these are messages, not problems to ignore, but signals to understand. And sometimes the solution is not something complicated. Sometimes it is as simple as changing the moment you drink your coffee. Your health is shaped by what you do every day, not once, not occasionally, but consistently. So start with one change, just one, and let that change guide the next. Take care of yourself and take care of the people you love, because the choices you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. I will see you in the next video.